right today. We are live coming to you on this Saturday. Could be morning, could be afternoon. A lot going on. So we're gonna just kind of get into it. Let me go set up shop. Got this world premiere today. Hope that you're doing all right this day. Let me get this thing set up if I can on my way. Okay, so let's get back to that. Okay, let me go get this Q&A up. So we're gonna talk about Bill Belichick. Is he getting played by his girlfriend? This thing's been like the latest story that's come up. We're gonna be on here and see what we got. We got a live world premiere. We're gonna be on here today. We're gonna see what we doing, what we do, what we say. See if anybody gonna come through. I'm not gonna be here all night. If I... Some people are calling for Bill Belichick to be fired from his North Carolina job because his girlfriend has been kind of like, is she running game? People are doing looking into his welfare. I don't know his mental state. I don't know. I really don't know what to say about old Bill Belichick. Belichick is going through some things, but it's becoming kind of obvious, you know. Something don't be adding up. And we are live and here. What's up? What's happening? How you doing? How you do? Hello, how you doing? Thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming in on this Saturday. I'm the reason if you don't see me like directly, or if I'm a little running behind, is because I'm just putting all my links up. But I am live and in color this Saturday. So feel free. Don't be alarmed if it just like the screen look black for a moment. That's because I'm fine tuning all the notifications to let people that I am coming through live and in color. So we're just taking stock and inventory. It is live and we are here. And if you feel like coming through, feel free. And if you got something to say, feel free. Only thing I say is don't troll and don't do anything wrong. Just keep it grown. Okay. What's happening? How you doing? Thank you for coming through. I get these visitors now. I just hope somebody comes through and got something to say, and then we're gonna get some conversation today. Cause I will be on. Depends on how much conversation we actually have today. So Bill Belichick, now head coach of North Carolina Tar Heels, former NFL head coach of New England Patriots, six-time head coach of Super Bowl champions with the Patriots, etc. But this whole thing about his girlfriend and the stories coming out that she get banned from the school, she interrupts his interview, stuff going on. Some people wondering if he has all his everything is okay with him. What would have happened if this had been Deion Sanders? You already know the question. Bill is a white man, Deion's a black man. You already know. There's no way in the world. With Belichick's reputation, it's like it's really not. It's going down kind of suspect. And then of course you had Charles Barkley, who said he's kind of concerned for his old friend Bill Belichick. So there's a lot going on. It was made privy to me just coming here. I wasn't even going to talk about Belichick. Actually, I was going to talk about Aaron Gordon being a superhero for the Denver Nuggets in these postseasons. But I thought the Belichick story would get some hit. So we're going to see. But yes, Mr. Bill, Mr. Bill. This is what we got right here. So we're coming to you live today. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope you're having a good day. If it's early for you, well, good morning. If it's afternoon, great afternoon. If it's nighttime, good evening. If it's the next day, happy Sunday to you. No matter where you are in the world, thank you for stopping through. Glad to have you, and I hope to hear from you. A lot going on. But this one is asking, is Bill Belichick getting played by his girlfriend? He's 73 and she's 24. So some people might look at the age discrepancies and say, sugar daddy, gold digger. It's got all the makings. Is it? Is he being played because he's been on them blue pills, is having something good? He's up on Blueberry Hill. Was it Blueberry Hill, Blueberry Pills? I don't know. You got to let me know about old Bella cheat. Get the cameras at work. Somewhere Tom Brady got to be kind of laughing and sniggering. I don't know. I just know that, the thing about it is with Belichick, I got to look at him kind of sideways and crazy. It's not ending well. You were so close to breaking the NFL record for winning as coach ever. And then you can't basically get a job in the NFL as a head coach with your reputation because Robert Kraft just said no more. And when you got stuck with Mac and Cheese Jones in a post Tom Brady world and Brady came back there and beat you in the game, and you just didn't really do anything with what you had. You had Zappa, you had Cam Newton, and you had Mac and Cheese Jones, and they sucked. Cam was just a little bit past the pull date. He had a little something in him, and I still think he could be a decent backup. But the other busters you had, they stunk. So they obviously didn't want you to come back. Robert Kraft gave you the GM gig and gave you a head coaching job. So we just seeing how it all played out, and it didn't play out too good. It don't look too good. It didn't end too good. We don't know what you're gonna do, Bill. Now you had a midlife crisis, got on an airplane ride, and got you a Barbie doll, Instagram model reject. I don't know how he let you down. I know you think I'm crazy when I tell you that he is a sidekick. Look, I'll go back with Jimmy Butler. Chicago days, Minnesota days, Philadelphia days, obviously with the Heat. He's strong and he's tough. He looking for free throws. He ain't a pure shooter. When he was in the bubble against the Lakers, he had an outer body with Rachel Nichols down. He had outer body when he was throwing up 25, 30, but that's not him. He's not that dude. He can get you buckets, but he can't get you them kind of buckets. Believe me, if he could score like Donovan Mitchell, believe me, he'd still be in. He would have been in Philly right now with the Sixers. He'd have never gone. How many teams he didn't play for? Because he wears out his welcome, his attitude, his actions. But if he had that kind of game, he wouldn't have been traded for Tobias Harris. Look, I think Jimmy Butler is what I call a low first, high second tier, and I like it. But he older now. He been hurt, and he hoping that the whistle will blow. He's trying to get the and one. He ain't equipped to being a pure shooter. That's not his mo. Buddy has to take more shots than him because Buddy Hield is what the NBA is today. Now let me get something straight with you. I didn't say Buddy is a better player than Jimmy, but he's a better volume scorer shooter. Buddy Hield scores they got a good chance, especially if we can knock down 4 and 5 threes. That's what has to happen. Jimmy's trying to get the and one. Jimmy's trying to uh, drive through the mid, go to the hole, hit the box, somewhere between Gary Payton and I can't think of somebody old school, maybe Mark Aguirre, somebody like that, but he ain't got that skill set. But the thing is, he's trying to create to get free throws. He wants to have a James Harden a parade line of free throws. Steph ain't coming back. If they talking about some game 6, it's not coming back. He's not coming back. You got to remember something. Then you got to get yourself in shape again, routines, all that. He's not coming back. This series is not going to last like that. If I'm Golden State, I'm trying to finish that butt off by game 5, game 6. I am not trying to be 3-2, 3-3, all that. You better win the next 2 at home. That's the only way you're going to win the series. You better go with the mindset we got to get 2. We got to get 1 first and we got to get the second. If you sit there and play long, Minnesota wins the series. They're going to wear you down. And I already said Golden State is more spent than you. They're an older team and they're undersized and it's going to catch up. And who's going to stop Julius Randle? Because Aaron Gordon, Donovan Mitchell, and I can mention Tyree Halliburton, well, except for the last game, they've been consistent. They may not. It may be too late. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. You think that Anthony Edwards gonna play 3 more bum games? You really think that? And if Gobert gets going, I mean, it's a bad look for Golden State if the series goes more than 5. I'm just telling you, it wears them out. And you don't want back-to-back 7-game series, and you don't want to be doing that because you already tenderfoot as it is, and you're light in the cakes. You're light in the box, and you're light as far as offense. You don't have a lot of room for error. I'm just keeping it 100. But I'd like to see Steph probably go and get another ring, and Jimmy get one. I wouldn't have no problem with it. But the obstacles that they got is and some it's pretty huge because Draymond can't control himself. Kamingas don't get no run, which I don't understand what Kerr is doing, and they don't have a lot of room for error. Leonardo Barbosa ain't coming off that bench. Sean Livingston ain't coming off that bench. Inkadai ain't coming off that bench. They don't have that kind of depth. GP2 is a good fit. They got good fits and spots, but they don't have no offense. SGA's biggest problem is that he is getting caught thinking too much. Like I think he's trying to just keep rolling your game, score. The problem with Jokic is that they starting to get him physical. They starting to pound him, which they're doing. They're not letting him just stand on top of the key like a robot and compartmentalize it. Make his butt work. Make him put the ball on the ground. Hit him, hit him undercut. And then if them busters don't make you pay, this is where he's getting exposed. That means if Jamal Murray is wishy-washy, inconsistent, that means if Aaron Gordon don't go off, and Michael Porter Jr., who don't really ever really go off like he should, if those cats don't, because it comes down to their starting 5. They have no real bench except for Westbrook. They have a couple with Westbrook and one other, and that's it. They don't really have a lot of depth. So if you make him have to work, what's happening? How you doing? You gotta, because that's what Zubats did. Zubats probably played Jokic the best I've seen in recent memory. It's just that the Clippers old and they could, and James Harden and all that, and Norman Powell never really got off. Kawhi played good. They didn't get the stops, and they didn't really play to win. They played to keep up. It was a strategy. No, it's all brother. My proudest moment. Just being blameful to tell the Lord thank you. If I could say my proudest moment, I got different things, but just saying a thank you. That's all. No, I'm straight black. It's all African American. How you doing? How you doing? But that's a good question though. Thanking God every day. That's the proudest moment. The gifts. The gifts. The gifts. The simple things. Not too deep. I don't get asked if I'm Latin. Most people know I'm black. Good point though, Rich. Though it's true. I can't recall the time I seen two MVPs who look just like. But then again, so does Jason Tatum if he's considered a candidate, and Luca. Well, Luca wasn't there. Well, so let's see who was your top candidates MVP this year. So Jokic, SGA, Tatum. Who else? It looks if they can win. Appreciate you. The Knicks ain't won yet. The game ain't over yet. And the sad part is I don't even know if they're the better team in the series. It's kind of like Cleveland. It's like I'm not seeing the right teams that what the teams that look better ain't up. OKC has played better than Denver, but they can't finish. Boston has looked better than New York. Can't finish. Cleveland actually did it last night. So this has been the strangest playoff series I've seen. Strangest. Because the teams that actually look better ain't up. That's the strangest thing. Because Boston is a better team than the Knicks. That's where he was effective the other night when he went to that hole. But he always want to try to fade. He still think he's Steph Curry. He think he's stuck in some. He thinking because light skin and the hair and the vibe that he's Steph Curry a whopper. And I'm like, look, man, go to that hole like you mean it. You get fouled, you put pressure on them. The Knicks ain't that deep. They just feed off of your mistakes. It's like Charles Barkley said, if you make enough mistakes, you give them a chance to win. That's how you blow 2 20-point leads when you had the game. You was waxing their butt. But what ended up happening is it was a close game. If you make half those shots, yeah, you blow their butt out. He needs to create more free throw opportunities. And so does Jalen Brown was doing the right thing. You know, they got to take advantage of mismatches. They got to make the Knicks pay. Brunson is leading the team and he's undersized. You got to make them turkeys pay. And if you know that Cat ain't going for 25, what's up? How you doing? Glad to have you. Thank you for coming through. That's what I'm saying. Joe Mazzulla got to teach high percentage shots. I mean, common sense is this serious. Well, I'm glad you're back. Glad to have you. I wonder where you were because I was on the last. Well, it was a couple of days ago. I wasn't here 2 days ago, but I was here yesterday. And it was kind of dry and dead, but I'm glad you're here. Yeah, if you smart, you go to the hole. It's not brain surgery. Boston just don't finish up. And I got a problem with that. You want a chip and you don't know how to finish? That makes you look kind of suspect. Some people gonna call you fraudulent. I understand OKC because they not been to this before, but Denver and Boston, y'all been here before. Y'all know how this story's supposed to go. You shouldn't be, you know. So we're gonna see though. If the Knicks do finish them up, that's gonna be some major changes. It's because of the stats. It's his stats, but he ain't making the shots. You know, you gotta make it count. Go ahead. Feel free to ask me the question. Feel free. Tatum just doesn't have that dog in him. That's the bottom line. If he had what Brown's got, then you might have one of the probably 16 to 17 greatest players ever. He'd be on his way to almost being mentioned with Larry Bird. Good question. Um, Gotta say Sade because she had better album. Braxton had great hit songs, and Braxton's a better singer. But Sade got her own lane, and Sade got more memories, more memorable for most when you just take it into the songs. I like Braxton stuff with L.A. and Babyface and the stuff that R. Kelly did, and then she just kind of Sade fit that. Sade got the songs that still hit though. Her catalog just hits me better, but I like Braxton's voice better. But Sade got the songs. At the end of the day, it's about the songs. So and Sade puts on a good show. Braxton's problem, she was kind of like what I call an old young artist. She felt old when she's younger, and she didn't really, I don't know. It came out a certain way. Like the stuff though, but it just kind of stagnant. She actually can bust some freestyles to her rapping, but she just doesn't have that. It was tied in. And she and Babyface did records together. They got a chance to be like the Ashford and Simpson of their generation if they were married and making them songs. Because I like they chemistry. I never said he did. In fact, I've done one of a few people that put videos out where I question it because he doesn't get nothing out of his teammates. Jamal Murray at times can look like he's one of the 12 to 15 best players in the league, and the other times he's like he's in the 60 to 79 pile. And then Michael Porter Jr. It's like you're the big version of Klay Thompson. Knock them shots down, yo. You athletic. What's wrong? And Aaron Gordon has been savoring their behind. Because without Aaron Gordon, they butt would have been fishing. Won he won to it 2 games and got him to overtime. He done the whole nine. So yeah, he got Russell been playing. Jokic is just not. Is he really? See, this brings up a good question. Okay, you missed all around. Are you stat padding? Or are you making your team better? That's why I get into it with the Jokic fans because they be like, "Well, he should be MVP because the stats." I said, "Is his team dominant? Is he dominating like he should?" They can't answer that. He ain't. Short answer is no, he ain't. He got help. They just don't defend, and they lose chippy games. They lose those. Now, I will give them credit for last night. They would have lost that in the regular season. That's what got Michael Malone fired. They were losing the barge. The barge. Come on now. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm not gonna mess with you, but yeah, they see the assists and all that, but he don't finish. The Jets are a talented family, and I like some of their songs. I like what they did. They can play, but come on now, Elder Barge, when you write a song like "All This Love" and I like it, did you hear the harmony? You hear them songs, and they both had probably about the same amount of albums out and stuff. But the Barge had songs that are standards. I like the Jets, talented family, but the Barge had the songs and the better vocals. And Elder Barge is a bad dude. He's bad. Michael Jackson was once quoted saying, "If Elder Barge could dance, he'd be a problem." I agree. He could have been a real problem. That in the industry did too because the industry divided them and they got seduced. You know when you in that plantation Hollywood, you start seeing stars, you start doing things, and yeah. Rich, you were absolutely right because his stats look great, but his dominance ain't the same. That's one thing I be having issue with those Jokic fans who be coming at me, because yeah, but is he dominating? Shaq dominated. Wilt dominated. Russell dominated. Okay? Kareem dominated. Hakeem did his thing. You gotta go to back finals. You gotta be running the situation. Moses Malone dominated. You gotta run the situation. You can't be just some turkey that stat pads and and then you got your coach fired and then y'all kinda like don't know what y'all gonna do. Don't lose the next game to OKC though, which they could, unless they beat them up, but I think they're in the driver's seat, but it's not saying much. I'm not impressed by neither one of the situations because OKC is not getting enough balance out, and they clearly to me are the better talented team. But Denver's got the pedigree for success, so we'll see. All right, 83% says yes, he's getting played. Good, quite good, 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 good. Bill Belichick. Well, it's gonna be a long year there in Chapel Hill. We'll see if he makes it. If he messes this up, that's one of the worst PR jobs ever. But I know how enough about Belichick. All right, now let's keep on hitting these likes up. Please smash these likes up. Take this poll, and if you happen to be here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a great day, and feel free to ask away if you got something to say. Let's make it happen today. Mm-hmm. Why am I hating on Big Bill? I'm not hating on him. It's like he's getting played. He's getting played. Do you believe that Smokey Robinson, if he was black, they wouldn't let him get away? I'm gonna tell you about Smokey in just a second. His family's coming out doing investigating on him. His family's doing investigating, and plus Charles Barkley brought it to attention to Dan Patrick. I don't think there's a lie with the Smokey thing, and I love Smokey Robinson. I think he's one of the greatest right here. Well, it's just that the thing with Belichick, because she came on the campus and the whole thing with the interview, that set people off. I think that Smokey probably been, if I knew Smokey did some crack back in the day, and there was some stuff, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that didn't come to the forefront because again, they protect imagery. I'll tell you like this, they sit on stuff for a long time. I don't know why people get surprised by a lot of these entertainers. Now there are certain things that you got to prove, but the thing about it is this: the reason why it could be believable is because A, I ain't been there with the cat. B, I know he's a street dude. That's because he wrote them great songs and all smooth. You know, he's 73 years old. The woman's 24, and she was all in that interview which I watched. She was all talky talk. Bill ain't got no pimp hands to say, "Look, fall back. Let me do the talking. I'm here." But Bill is all giddy like he just had the best blue pills, blue magic, whatever you want to call it, on Blueberry Hill. He can't shut up and giddy. And people are looking at him suspect because his reputation prior to this was like no nonsense on the Cincinnati. So, you know, all of a sudden now he's all smiling and posing and perking. It was I saw the interview. It was on some I forgot, but you just type in Belichick's interview with girlfriend. It'll come up where she interrupted, and it was very un-Bill Belichick esque, un-Belichick esque. So if you grown up, that's a matter of opinion. She wouldn't have had the career she got. She wouldn't have had the career she got, and she would have probably like maybe been like Reeve prediction of Janet. She wouldn't have had her career. There wouldn't have been no control. She'd have been Michael's little sister. We never would have gotten to where she got because I don't think she would have pursued it as much. You got to believe that Boston's gonna win tonight. You gotta believe it. And the other game is Minnesota Golden State, right? Um, it's a must win for Golden State. But I'm gonna tell you something. The road teams done won so many of these playoff games. It's uncanny. I don't see no clear cut teams in any of these series. Now, tell me I'm wrong. I don't see a clear cut team because these teams look like they can be had. I don't really feel a vibe that I see a team that I go, oh, that team can go and run off. I don't see it. I, this is the most parody of parody. When Adam Silver wanted parody, he got it. Home court sucks this time. I've never seen anything. See, I grew up with the Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, where they would talk to the media and they would get, and Popovich would get 2 games at home. This mess here is, well, it's because guys shoot threes all the time. Analytics is just different. If Steph was healthy, the series might be over. I said 5 games. But without Steph, that's going to be tough. Because I know Ant's going to have a game or two. I just know it's coming. And you better hope Ant comes because if Ant doesn't expose what Golden State's got, then he looks kind of fraudulent. And he didn't gone on record of beating Durant and LeBron and Jokic, Jokic and beating Luca. You got us beat Golden State. You look fraudulent if you don't because this one is the easier setup because they don't have the size to match you. And now without Steph there, the perimeter is even Steven. Julius Randle's a problem. But the Minnesota guy can make sure the other guys step up. It's important how they come out. But if I'm them, I'm coming right at Draymond. I'm coming right down the middle. bust them up. And what you can't do is let there be Buddy Hill or somebody sleeping. He don't have to be MJ. He just has to play his game. And nobody's saying I ain't saying about all that. He has to like be aggressive. He wants to play the all around game. But he's better if he's pushing 25, 35. It's his athleticism and his he has a certain bravado and his athleticism. You know, they compare him to Jordan, Kobe, and D Wade. That's the ones that they can put him with. He's neither one of the three, but I will say this: he got good athleticism. He got spring in him, and he's got the ability to stand up to the big moments. So I understand it from that logic. And they need an American born player to be dominant and have some personality that can sell some jerseys. I can't say the Drexler was a better athlete in terms of like getting at that rim, but it's two different things. But if Drexler played today, that would be interesting. But this is the thing about him. Inside out is better than Drexler. He got a better outside shot already. Now I don't think he was a better player than Drexler because that's too early. But I will say he's showing signs though. Yeah, I know. Because Janet's always been coded in mystery. She is a Jackson. And if you know anything about the Jacksons, they never do anything without there being some aura and mystery. Aura and mystery now works at the local strip club, but back in the day, old show business, aura and mystery meant everything. I just think that Janet has played along with it. It could be very well true. You know, I think people love the yesteryear scandals or yesteryear unknown because there's not much going on. And really, with Janet, everything with her personal life has always been a mystery. If you think about it, I mean, when she married Renee Elizondo, no one even knew. He was in the movie Poetic Justice, but she was also messing with Q-Tip, you know, and just some crazy stuff that goes around. So it's always was something. And then, you know, the prince that she married with the baby and all that, and this whole story. There's always been some with her, you just don't really know. So that's been a story in itself. So, but no one's gonna say anything. Money's green. But James, the last time it wasn't doing so hot though. That's what she do, and it gives her like that pop culture for folks who grew up in that particular era to kind of wonder, you know. So the story is that her sister Reby took care of it, but I don't know. I don't know. Would I be surprised? No, because Janet is a real chameleon, so they do a lot of that. But anyway, yeah, that's all. But anyway, Anthony Edwards is doing quite well for himself though, and he wins this series. And to be honest with you, Minnesota beats Golden State. They can take out OKC or Denver, and I'm sure the powers that be would love for him to go to the finals. I know they would because he's one of the most exciting players that they got under 25, and he can ball and he can play, and he's tough. He battle tested, so we'll see. He got to work on taking advantage of situations though, and don't run his mouth so much. That's the only problem that runs against him. And he's still learning on the job, but he definitely is on the right path. Definitely. And I could definitely see him winning a ring in the next 3 or 4 years. I could also see the Lakers trying to make a mad throw at him to team up with Luca if Luca stays with the Lakers. I expect something to be crazy shake up. I expect something that you didn't see coming. And you're like, someone will work on the crazy. Yeah, she does stuff where she's been like a mystery. And she definitely looked a little bit more. She had more bubble to her facial structure because when she did the Pleasure Principle video, her cheeks were her face was a bit more. And when she did There was an episode of Fame. She was full in the face. I think so. Cause I'm watching him grinning everywhere. I'm like, man, look, you been on Blueberry Hill. Them blueberry muffins got you just all giddy. You all happy. And I'm like, I don't remember. I remember that dude didn't even crack a smile none of the time with New England. All them rings that when they win the chip when he go there and be all on the Kansas City, on the Cincinnati. So you get out of him. Now all of a sudden he can't shut up and he's all giddy. Sugar Daddy Bill got him. Yeah, but I'm talking about the facial control video. She looked regular face, but if you see the pleasure principle, no, when I think of you, that's the video. When I think of you, she had more of the cookie shape in her face. And Fame, and they cut the album in '85. Album came out in '86. But when I think of you video, there's a certain fullness to her face. When she did the control video, she was thin again, but she always had like a rounder face. It came in and went. Obviously, when she did the Pleasure Principle video, she had that straight black hair thing, so it wasn't noticeable in the face line, but it was carrying more when I saw her. When I think of you video, there's a couple of them where she looked like she was carrying a bit more. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And again, you never know when these videos are shot and done, so they manipulate stuff. Because when she did the "What Have You Done For Me Lately" video, she was wearing black and she was dancing and moving. So just saying, by the time you get to Rhythm Nation and all that other stuff, the only video where she had a fullness to her face was probably Escapade. Yeah, and so did I think Jackie did too. I think Reby did too. It's common in Hollywood. Not to the extent that Michael did though, but it's common in Hollywood though. You watch the industry, you'll see a lot of it. And it depends on the hairstyle. Well, the one I think it with the curls, that was the one that was more noticeable with her hair when it's more curly. But when she did the straight hot comb, she looked thinner. I think the curls on her look good though. But she's got now Michael used to call her Dunk, but she looks better with a fullness. Shoot, I thought that turkey had retired like 5 years ago. What did I think of his career? What career? The cat was inconsistent. There were games he looked like he one of the six best quarterbacks going. Then he had other games where he looked like he was the 26th best quarterback. He was so erratic. Had a good arm, but never put it to fruition. Remember that game against the Raiders? Well, Jack Del Rio was probably his best coach. That game where he hit the power line and fumble. He just was a guy that woulda, coulda, shoulda had a good career, and he just average. So they got him out of New Orleans. Yeah, no, they weren't. Well, she been around forever and a day. She's been a pretty much a showbiz kid her whole career. She was on that Jackson variety show. No, he ain't Tony Romo. Like Tony Romo was a better quarterback. Tony Romo was good. I actually seen Tony Romo lead the Cowboys to the playoffs. He got riled out at one pass by Dez Bryant. You know, Tony Romo was actually good. He was erratic. That's why he wasn't great. No, he was better than Derek Carr. Carr was erratic because the Raiders didn't do nothing, and the Saints. He played great those 2 weeks to start the season. They had that game in New Orleans against Philadelphia, and then he resorted back, and he was up and down. At least with Romo, with that 1 year with Jack Del Rio, but he didn't do nothing in the postseason. If you said you thought he was as talented as Romo, I give you that. But he would. It's just like he underachieved. I like Romo better. No, I can't say that. Can't say that because uh, Dez Bryant, who was your running back? And think about that. What's up? Oh yeah, what's up? What's up? Yeah, thank you for coming. She did, and Timberlake got a pass. You talking about Derek Carr, or Dak? No, Dak, Dak. You know Dak's erratic as all get up. You think he balling? Cause I think it's Aaron Gordon who's balling. What you mean Murray Z? Yeah, I take Dak over Derek Carr. I can't really. You, yeah, he getting played. he getting played. He getting played. He's getting played. And he might get fired too. Messi gone see now. Turkey done gone see now. Getting caught out here in these streets. I did the video about it. You know, we glad to have Ted back. It really feel like home again. All due respect, glad everybody's in here, but you gotta be laughing. And you know what? If you ain't noticed that little Patriot circle, well, they all got caught up there and got played. Cause old Kraft, the massage parlor, he married a younger chick, ain't heard nothing. You know about Brady's situation with Giselle, he's still mad about it. And then of course, then he got paid that child support. And now with this, ain't that something about them Patriot men? Mm. He look average. I'm not gonna call him crap, but he look average. He don't look like that robot, that Herman monster, that machine he used to look. Zubac's kind of he is getting by. He's getting by. I'm gonna tell you something. You better be lucky there ain't no center around the NBA now who could handle him. Because if there's somebody who could handle him, the hype would definitely dry up. Because he can play outside and he's offense, but I'm telling you, Zubac's put something on him. If there was a round by round of a Zubox, he wouldn't look so great. Then people, I'm not saying he don't get his, well, he would inside out him. That's why Shaq was talking. That's why when people were crazy enough to say that he could hang was as good as Shaq, I'm like, you got to be out your mind. Yeah, he got them freaky eyes. He like he a perv. He like he a perv. People be like driving by. They all got something there though. The Patriots is like the Lakers in that regard. All freaky deaky, all freaky. Dwight was the last one in 2020, but you see, since then, he did develop that outside shot. He did roll off. He did do a lot of spin moves. But the thing is, you got to get him in the glass. You got to make him put the ball on the ground. I don't know how because no one looks at North Carolina. Is that I didn't hear he wasn't at the one when they had the Kansas City game though, but I know with Kraft. But yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised. Um, Carolina ain't. What's up? How you doing? Peace, 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 peace. It's hard to say make your mark in college when you're all time great football coach. I don't know about in college. I just think that this is a diversion. I think this is a step down. If you ask me, I mean, you're going to a college that's more known for basketball, and you're not competing because Ted's got the Ohio State logo. We know Belichick ain't gonna be playing Ohio State for no damn shit national championship. Okay, he ain't playing no Michigan. He ain't playing no, the top tier. He ain't beating Penn State. Yeah, she been around. You could tell. She be up there on them flying in them. She know where Pops was. No, no, the white got was able to get at him the right way. Yeah, I just got asked above before you came on what I thought about Derek Carr, and that's exactly how I feel. He did. Yeah, but see, Urban Myers though did that as Jacksonville Jags head coach. Belichick just putting it out there on Broad Street. Nobody cared though. Nobody holds it against him. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nobody holds it against him. But see, Belichick went wrong because he brought her around them college boys. Come on now, come on now, fool around. He gonna take a bad sack. He gonna get knocked out, get a concussion, messing with Belichick. Yeah, I heard about all that. What he been doing. He gotta get off that money though. Talk too much yang. Somebody out to get him though, and there's some truth to it. I mean, but somebody been watching him. Oh yeah. Cat's been watching him. Street's been watching him. Cat's gonna get there and get played though. Thank you for coming through, Ted. Glad to see you, and I'm glad how you been. More importantly, glad you're here though. Thank you for coming in, man. Definitely feels like old times, and I'm glad when everybody come in. How everybody know I go back with Ted though. Ted be cracking me up. Oh yeah. Who? Oh, you're so I don't know if you know about Questlove and Allen Iverson at the Sixer games. It used to be the story that AI and them be scoping out the crowd. I heard about that mess. I know about that. Magic, all that stuff. That's cool. Good weather. Um, he ain't get no. Come on now. Ask Ted about him getting better. He ain't get no better talent than Ohio State. Crack on him. Crack on him, Ted. You can have him. He ain't gonna get no top tier talent. Them boys is going to Ohio State. They going to Florida. They might go to SC. They ain't go Colorado. They ain't gonna be going to no North Carolina. If it's basketball, yeah. They ain't going in for no football. And besides, no, no. I knew that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for somebody who been winning national championship. You ain't getting this. No, no. I got a video out on you. You ain't no. He ain't gonna be getting that kind of talent. This to me is like a stop and go, and he hoping he can get another NFL gig. They won't touch him. No, they won't touch him. If he can, what you know what the X factor for North Carolina is though, besides defense, right? He got to get him a legit quarterback. That's who you keep your eyes on because he looking bad. And see if he goes up there and gets a whack quarterback who sucks. Basketball and ain't even that good this year, but football, come on now. I know he is because he would never go out like that. You do realize, right? Those cats like him, Tom Landry, they wouldn't go out going back to college. They were pros. Did you not hear what Mike Tomlin said when they asked him about the SC job? Remember what he said? He said, I'm a pro football coach. End of discussion. No. He's popular because he on this nice show and his afro and his personality. But he ain't there because of his musicality. He looks bigger because of the hip hop aesthetic, and he's got some token awards. He's got an Oscar and a Grammy, and he always tries to act like he a journalist, part time musician, and he's got to answer with everything, and that's what it looks like. It looks that way. Oh well, this is the thing. I don't even pay the Patriots no mind, yo. If you must know, that era is gone. Though I'm like you, big time. I don't really care for him. I like the Sly Stone documentary stuff he do, but I think he spends much time being a fanboy and don't really work on his own thing. He sits up there slurping prints and slurping what he know and always on some power trip. I never get no authenticity with him. So I ain't never, he got some knowledge and stuff, but the cat gets annoying with all that. You know, it's just like he's always look at this and that, and I'm not that impressed by the roots. Most people I know don't even know five root songs. I like Black Thought a lot as a rapper, but I just think, oh, okay. Let me say this real quick about that as a Bills fan. Let me answer that. Just like you, Ted, when you play Penn State, you check that W. That's how we do when we see New England. We check that W. We already know. Yeah, he to me he's mediocre drummer, and I'm not that big on him. Nick Saban sucked in the NFL. Okay, did you see what he did in Miami? Kind of like Urban Meyer in the NFL. Got the Bama, he did great. Some people ain't got it. But Mike's always been like tongue in cheek. I mean, Mike was always a guy that was half Hollywood and half street, you know. And if he had coherency, balance, he fool around and be like, dare I say, a black version of Trump in some way, in a way. Because he's got that Al Sharpton Trump thing going. how he do. We like him because we grew up how he was, but he's a bit. He made himself into like a what I describe Mike Tyson. It's an interesting configuration, but the polarizing that you love. But he's a lot like hip hop, and he is like he was hip hop's first athlete, arguably its greatest athlete to emerge from it because that kind of cap and vibe, Jordan would be bigger, but Tyson, but I tune out a lot of that other stuff he be doing. Now, if you do college and NFL, you want to be like Jimmy Johnson. You would have wanted to be like Pete Carroll if he wasn't Christmas Carroll. Overrated because of how he was a one trick pony as a power fighter and how it ended. Not overrated in his peak in his prime. He was something to see, but his window didn't last that long. But the aura of him and the charisma of him that made him a household, and you can't take that away. You know, depends on what eyes you looking them under. He had a great little run, and he had. Oh, I see that. So is Shohei too. I hope we get a revenge, so rematch. I hope they both balling, both balling. But I don't care about it now. I want that mess to be in September, October. I tell you that all the time. Don't get excited about it now. Don't mean nothing. If you don't bring no jewelry, I ain't with it. I need some jewelry. We need some new jewelry. We ain't had no jewelry since 2009. We need some new jewelry. Had a runner up last year. We need the real, the top tier one. See, don't get excited. Oh, he can hit the ball over the field. He takes walks. He's a smart hitter. He's learned how to get better as time has gone on. He just got to deliver when it comes money time. You already know the answer to the question before you even ask. We ain't talking about what like Allen Iverson said. We ain't talking about April. We ain't talking about May. We ain't talking about June. We ain't talking about July. We ain't talking about August. We ain't talking about September. We talking about October. And I don't like that part. That's the part of him that I have a problem with. See, that's where we have a problem. I don't need you to be a baseball version of James Harden. We hope that's not the case. Need to get some revenge. But see, that boy Shohei ain't playing. Well, if you could sustain with him for 3 or 4 rounds, you could wear him out. He was a power fight. It was all meat and potatoes. So if you could hit him with a combo, I remember too well. I remember too well. I remember Tyson's flaws. That's why when people used to ask how he would have fared against Ali, I said Ali would have worn him down. Yeah, well, they got to do it. Like I said before, I only get excited when we get into October. I ain't paying no lot of attention to this now. I'm aware of what he's doing, but you got to make it count. So pressure, man. It's called tight pants and pressure. Tight pants and pressure. To some, it depends. I mean, you know, um, his window, and but he had personality and charisma. But he's considered. Listen, I think he's one of the greatest fighters ever. But I also think that he didn't really enhance what he could have got. No, he ain't no rated, but no, he ain't seen no Ali. He ain't seeing none of the cats that I thought were better. I don't think he would have beat no George Foreman in his peak in his prime either. I think that he was strong and put together, but I think he'd have had some problems with some of those guys though. So it's fertile. 70% saying yes, Bill Belichick's getting played. So we on a roll today. Quite a bit. Quite a bit. I don't. How long has he been playing for the Yankees? And how old is he? I can't get this cat no pass. Giancarlo Stanton is on this retirement age. Garrett Cole out. You don't have a lot of room. Brett Bone can't give you a pass. Oh yeah, with the Gus D'Amato. Oh yeah, because Gus D'Amato kept him in check. he would have been a better fighter. Once he got with Don King, he started styling and profiling like he was Ric Flair, and that did do it. And then he didn't do himself no justice. So even if I say he beat Buster Douglas in that fight, he still got exposed a lot in that fight. He did against Razor Rudd. He looked very everything after Carl Douglas after '89. He looked very vulnerable. Let me just say that the allure of him had started to go down after that '90s fight. That fight '90 before Douglas. He always does. That's what's so frustrating with him. He gonna be one of the most watch. Don't let him get 30,000 points because then we're gonna have a crazy. I'm calling it right now. Watch how people talk about. He's gonna be the most polarizing cat to get 30,000 points ever. Watch. You'll see what I mean. Now, Don King is a hustler, but who did he learn from? And the commissioners always got him beat because he don't own nothing, but he's a hustler in a game where he played. They figured out. No, he's not the worst. He's not even close. He's janky and he's a hustler, but they far more got him beat. Well, you know what? Sometimes you just fight the right guy at the right time. It's not even about, you just gotta, be at the right place, right time. Now Harden is just erratic, a waste of talent too, because that cat had one of the baddest, even though it's traveling most of the time, got a crazy stutter step movement, Euro step, throw that beard, get the whistle. Man can still have moments, but he don't give it his all. He always gives you two good playoff games, then he stinks it up, then he's off to the club. What's up? Okay, I will look it up. But is it good though? And is he stuck with them two cats, or does he get to really go off? Because I hope he gets to talk without Chris Broussard tap dancing, all shuffling, and then Nick Wrong saying crazy outlandish stuff. I seen Nick Wrong. I did a video about it. You didn't watch my video, and I laid into his behind too. I said he need to turn his keys in. You see my video, you'll see where I went on him. Up here quoting Jay-Z talking about '80s the new '60s. Oh, good. I have to check that out then. I'll check out Wiles then. Thank you. Because I like him. I like the snark and his Jack Nicholson type of vibe. I like it. He needs somebody on that show that will compliment him. Charles Barkley or somebody like that would be hilarious. I'd watch that. Well, yeah, because I know that. I mean, look, seven finals appearances, three chips, 30, 30. I ain't got no argument. All those banners. I get it. But having said that, though, that ain't going to happen. That ain't coming through that door tomorrow. You don't have a championship. You don't even have a team you don't have a team that's good enough for a playing tournament to beat Trey Long, to beat Trey Young, and to beat the Bulls, and then get your butt waxed in the first round. That's all you playing for is the in season thing to be 10 or 12 seed. Well, supposed to be safe, but I want Spo to move up where Pat Riley is, and then they get a new coach. I think they need new blood. That's what I'm trying to say. I know that. I know what Mickey Hollister loves Pat Riley. I understand, but I don't. Not now. Now, when you know your team is a playing tournament team and you can't wait to face Josh Giddey and Kobe White and Trey Young, you getting excited because that's all it's gonna get. You can ask Ted that question too as your Packer fan. The Pacers. Oh, the Pacers. If Tyler Halliburton comes back with if Halliburton plays another busted game like he got bought and paid off, you in trouble. Well, Cleveland is the better team now. But if they don't finish, then it don't matter. But they are the better team. Make no mistake about it. Donovan Mitchell is on another level. Anything that the Pacers got. But if they don't finish, if Cleveland plays at their best, they beat the Pacers. Pacers don't play no defense. And Rick Carlisle didn't throw defense out the window. Offensively, you can hang. I like him, but not on that scene, though. He was out of pocket for that scene. Yeah, but look at how they did it, though. They not a better team than Cleveland. Don't kid yourself. Cleveland outplayed them all three of these games. They got them 2-1. But if Cleveland wins this game, it's even Steven. The longer the series goes, it favors Cleveland. I'm telling you now, they will make some adjustments. Because nothing, the Indiana can't touch no Donovan Mitchell. They got no answer for him. Well, he wouldn't do that though. But it was stunting and it was self-serving. You just don't do that though. Oh yeah, he don't act like none of the other cats in the NBA. He was right. I got something you ain't got. SGA because he's a better leader. Donovan Mitchell been in this predicament before. Now he can shut a lot of people up if he do what he's supposed to do, because he didn't get it done in Utah, and people kind of snickered about Cleveland. So if he gets them going, then yeah. But SGA, I still like how he does overall. We'll see. Who you talking about, Dakota? When he said, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, he's a different player now." Would have given Miami a look and New York a look too, but he looks good in Cleveland. Yeah, they better win too. They better not lose a game to Boston, because if they lose, they're in trouble. They know they're playing with house money. They better not. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because the Pacers don't have the kind of offense to match the Cavaliers. And you got, I will give Mad Dog Russo his props. They got what you call good players. They don't have a great. I like Halliburton, but he ain't great. PJ Sock'em is good. He ain't great. They don't have a guy that Miles Turner neither. They don't have that guy like you going, oh, oh. No, they're not on the ropes. Because they could be up 3-0 in this series. But we thinking Aaron Gordon. If it wasn't for Aaron Gordon, Denver would be fishing. It's just that they're immature as far as finishing up and sealing the deals. That's all. It's a winnable series for OKC. Ain't none of these series look over. Well, I already heard. Did you hear about their salary cap? Because the word is that they're gonna have crazy cap. So even if they do or to win, they'd have to unload. So I expect there'll be some changes. But yeah, if they do get swept, I imagine that will definitely break up quite a few people. Yeah, that's going. Like I said before, it's gonna be some changes with them next year. Well, we'll see. It's not so much as they blow; it's that they haven't really played what I call a good game. They played 24 minutes and really 12 minutes of basketball. They've not played a 48-minute game. So we got to see how it go. Tibbs is lucky though, because nobody got hurt, and he's been able to do just enough to nudge. And with the defense, he's very lucky, very lucky. I mean, of course, most people like to see the Knicks win, but it's gonna be tough. I have not. Even though they're up 2-0, I have not seen anybody that I go, "Oh, this team like they could win it right now." Because him and Dion got a relationship, and Brady can step to Skip because he's like, "Yo, I know what Brady gonna come out and say that there was a racist agenda against Shador, which it was. And flat, it depends on where he go, and we're gonna see. He ain't gonna come out and say anything about shot and sharp though. It's gonna be rocking, but they gotta win. If they don't win, it don't mean nothing. We better put Boston out quick. If we around, let Boston get going. You know, and that's the problem with the Knicks. They don't have what I call a frontline team. Everything is all predicated on comebacks and hard work and overdoing it. Nothing is easy. So yeah, I don't know about how Brady and Shannon Sharp's a very can be polarizing, and also remember something that remember something. Shannon Sharp ain't exactly been the biggest Tom Brady fan, so I don't know. Because of his success and the marketing of him and everything like that. Mm, I I guess, but I almost want to say it's by default because I really don't put a lot of stock in who's the most respected. I don't know. Bad interviews don't mean that you did. Did that stop Johnny Manziel, who was cocky? What's all this? How that turn out? Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. To do like Stephen A. Smith, bring that camera in. It doesn't matter. It's called a job. Give somebody an opportunity. That's all it is. Okay, I can draft you. That don't mean I'm gonna sign you, but I give you a chance. So you gonna tell me Shador was that bad? Yeah, right. You talking about Shador? Well, Shador grew up with a famous father. Okay, let that sink in. Yeah, I did that on purpose because I wanted to make a strong point. You let Johnny Manziel come into the NFL. You let Baker Mayfield and all those commercials come in. And how they doing? So don't come at me with this, oh, he was too cocky, he was too this. All them quarterbacks came in cocky. It's all about getting opportunity. That's all it come down to. Brady, Brady will talk about Brady's real robotic. I mean, he talks really cool. He talks directly and what worked for him. He's a mix and match. Sometimes he be cursing like LeBron, and sometimes he's in that mood, and sometimes he's business like. It all depends where he's coming from. But I think that he understands the do deal what how it worked for him. And Brady does have a certain way to ease him. Yeah, I did a video about that. That's coming out in another month. I did that video. He would say that too because he's consistent. I will give him that. He stays consistent. He didn't want none of that hot pecan Joy Taylor, but he showed. I saw it. I liked it too. No, when you are a Heisman Trophy and you're considered a great quarterback and a player, they all got something. Paul Hornung used to gamble back in the '60s. Let me let you on a little story. Bring that camera in. There are no Scooby Doo mysteries about who you are when you play college football. You do know that college sports is basically the plantation for the big leagues. You do know that, right? It's minor league. You do know that. You know they just started NIL. You do know that, right? They already do character assessments. Just like when Warren Sapp got caught with the marijuana and he got drafted all the way to 13 by Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They knew. That's why his stock fell. But it worked out for him, now, didn't it? I'll give nobody no pass because if you are, they know who you are. You talking about all time? See, this is tricky and wrong because you got to say Archie Griffin because he won it twice, even though his NFL career wasn't worthy of it, but he did. Obviously, O.J. Simpson because that was one of the bad. Reggie Bush, that was bad. And a lot of SC cats gonna get it in my ranking. See, the problem with this thing is where this falls in is very few of them had NFL careers that you care to remember, except for OJ and probably a few others. But most of them that won it, they were great in college, and then what? Like Tebow was great in college, and then what? Um, who else would I say? Hmm. Hmm. They know what you do. They know what you do. See, I think what you're trying to do is because you're trying to say you get a pass. I'm trying to tell you they know what these cats do. They know what they do. There is no one that goes unmasked without them knowing. Cause he is thirsty. Did you hear that Suge Knight interview? Suge Knight got an interview on the Art of Dialogue. He said that him and Key messed with half the women on the West Coast once upon a time. Of course, Suge was macking on Key's wife, and he did. That's a whole nother story, another video. But Suge got a video. It was on Art of Dialogue. I was watching it 2 days ago. Yeah, he should. That should even been up for discussion. Baseball is an old timey, racist, played out, archaic mindset. Everybody should be in the Hall of Fame. But the Browns had no more clowns than the NFL. Yeah, Keyshawn's ex was messing with Suge. Because Keyshawn was 304 in them streets. He's a 304, okay? In case you don't know, he be out there wilding. It's kind of funny that him, Paul Pierce, and Richard Sherman, all them on the same network, and Michael Irvin, all that 304. Wow, wow, wow. And Ocho will be playing all articulate, be out there too. Just telling you. But they not threatening because they know where to get the right table. Now, if they know about your situation, they don't have no problem with letting you go through. Of course, he's a Hall of Famer. He's arguably the greatest baseball player ever. All of them should be in. When you start bringing Scott Rowland and some of these cats, I like Harold Baines, but Hall of Fame, come on. These cats they putting in now, they just be trying to put in people. If you let Ortiz in the hall, then everybody should be in the hall. Because all Ortiz done is just put a little Jerry curl in his hair, shine his teeth up, and he be grinning. But everybody knowing how he got down. But he's still great though, per se. Well, Willie was before my time, but is a special kind of player. He was the pre, but I grew up watching Bonds. And in my eyes, in my lifetime, I ain't seen no one better. Now I could say Mays was Clemens could arguably be the greatest right hand pitcher ever. He was dominant. All them guys should be in the hall. McGuire should be in, Social should be. Now you can question Rafael Palmar. He got numbers, but he never did nothing memorable. But the numbers, but yeah, Rose they should be in it. Yeah, Ted, yeah, he was wild and when Suge comes out, cause Suge was messing with. I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, 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 yeah. Satchel Paige is like one of the greatest pitchers ever. Period. The cat was pitching at 60. Oh yeah, but that was because of the rate. But again, if he got to play, he probably could have played. He was 70. Conseco just didn't get his full out of his system in terms of the greatness that could have been him. Could have been even better. Clemens was a bad cat. To me, he was a better version of Nolan Ryan. Cut from like that, and then just had that other stuff. So I did like Clemens. Oh yeah. Let's see what we got so far. We got 73% saying yes, Bill is getting played. We like that. Let's see what we got. Oh, everybody wants to fight Piazza. Duh. But I wouldn't be backing down from neither one of them. But everybody wants to fight Piazza. Everybody think Piazza's soft. So yeah, but again, it's politics. Oh, he dropped the T. He got the whole because he know how baseball is, and that's why the commissioner is fake. Yeah, that stuff is fake. The whole thing they got now is still fake. They had jump balls. They had built-in ballparks. Pitchers walking around. You got a $5 pizza. They got a five yard rate. Make it make sense. The analytics that it's tailor made to push agendas. That's what he was saying. The commissioners is bought and paid to look the other way. And come out talking about the chicks did the longbow. No, not only old heads linger. What's getting him in trouble now is that he's true Paisan Italian dude. That he's all conservative. He's one of them dudes that's like, get Hey, you know. A Rod should have been in the Hall of Fame. A Rod's living his best life now. He got some ownership with the Timberwolves. He's living his best life. It didn't change the series. The Yankees were gonna win that series. That had nothing to do with that. It was a close series, but the Mets didn't have that dude that could get them to another level. The Yankees just nickel and dined them and beat them with fundamental baseball. That was just Roger flexing. Had no balance on it. I didn't look at it as a change, and because baseball, it comes down to what you do at the plate. You know, when Freddie Freeman hit that home run against the Yankees, that was a change the series. Kirk Gibson hitting that home run, that changed the series. Cats throwing a bat or throwing a ball, that ain't gonna work because you're used to that. Just like when Dave Roberts stole that base against the Yankees in '04, that changed that series. And then Ortiz came with the big hits. Johnny Damon was a foot problem. Ramirez was a problem. That changed the series. But that Dave Roberts steal against the Yankees and they won that came back. That's what I'm talking about. I'm just keeping it 100. When you stop and talk, you see, I didn't seen this story before. I was a long time ago. Lady friend sitting on the couch watching that Dodger Oakland game. And Gibson hit that 2 out, 2 strike off of Eckersley, and he barely was trouting and got, and I was magical. So I know what that's like. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, bring it up to date, Freddie Freeman, who went on in his mind last postseason. And I told you they were the better team. I didn't like that series for the Yankees. I was glad to be there, but I wasn't. I knew they were going to beat the Dodgers. And that's why, sometimes you can just see things. Even though you're a fan, you can see things before they, jump off. So, no one talks about Piazza like that no more. They got all that money, but they don't know how to do it. He gets booed, but they did retire his jersey. Someone had one of his jerseys at the old Yankee Stadium. Boom, all he won. He came up big though. He was big. Yeah, the O's spend a lot of money. They just don't seal the deal. That's their problem. That's what's up. They looking pretty good so far. I mean, I'm not gonna really get into a whole lot about, it's still early in the season because we're only in May. So again, I don't really. That's like if you come up tell me that the Mariners look good. Wait till we get to about a couple months from now. Once we get past the All Star break, let me know. I can't really say anything about anything right now with that because it's still early. Let him do it. But baseball needs to pardon him to let him in the Hall of Fame. I'm not excited about it because the baseball world needs to do something about that. Trump's just trying to look like he's trying to be some kind of folk hero. The thing about Rose, that needs to happen with baseball. They need to put him in the hall. That got nothing to do with nothing else. So I'm not really even sweating that. I'm not even sweating that. Well, Shaq in 2000 comes to mind. I want to say Jordan 80, 87. Want to say that one. That'll be one of them. Curry 16. Because those were like impressive to me. Those were impressive. I want to say, no, wasn't impressed with that at all. It was like a token award, and to me, he was good. I don't know if how great he was that year. I just think they kind of gave him one. Jordan 88, I already said that one. Shaq 00. Curry, you said MVP finals all time. We talking about the final, or we talking about the MVP year, 2016 when he was unanimous. That was impressive. Um, I'd have to say I was impressed with Tim Duncan's 2 year. I don't think it gets enough due. Yeah, regular season MVPs. And then one of them Bird years or Magic years in the 80s. That's what I would say. Yeah, Duncan had a great one, but you know, but no, I wasn't feeling the Kobe '08. Not like that. Mm-mm. He won it in 95, 96, 90, 95, 95, 95, 95. And he had a great year because Dave Robinson won in 94. What's happening, Bob? Welcome. Thank you. Glad to see you. Give a shout out to the elder. Show some love to the elder. Give the elder his love. Great content on his show. Please check it out. He be speaking the facts. He be bringing it. Love what he said about Jason Whitlock and others, and the things what he be telling you every day about taking care of what's going on. Be aware of the racism, institutionalized, systematic. Keep an eye on him, because the elder be speaking it. It's funny too, because a lot of people, uh, with Dr. Umar Johnson, but the elder be talking about in a way that everybody can identify. Yeah, but that wasn't a finals year though. That was a great year in terms of what he did as far as being with the team. I was asked a question about my favorite MVP years, talking about the regular season, not the postseason. But that was a strong one for what he did because that secured his legacy. That's why people now debate where he is all time. That put him in that conversation. But yeah, I definitely appreciate the elder Baba. Much respect. Show that man his love. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, and he inspired me because I did my video because Chris Carter out his everlasting mind. He can't talk about nobody. He didn't. He I told. Oh, you ain't seen my video because I call him the Scotty Tissue. Him and Scotty Tissue Pippen both get on my nerves. All that crying about this ain't right. That's not right. Chris Carter had. He was on. When he would had his own first take. Oh, not that. He had his own thing on there on Fox before Shannon. He blew that opportunity. He be running his mouth. He be blowing his opportunity. He get mad because people don't hold him in this high regard because he was great for what he did as far as what he did, but then he gets all upset by what he did. So I'm like, I don't understand what's going on with him though. It's like Chris Carter, you can't be coming at people like that. I don't understand what. So yeah, he been crying too much for me, and then he had the nerve to talk trash about somebody and then now all of a sudden he's that yeah, I didn't like that at all. I watched him trying to talk about Dion and talk about Shador, and I was like, what are you going on about? Because Shador can play, and you never were getting by Dion. This is some old. I'm mad because I don't like Dion because Dion got more light than me. Look, he played great a couple of times, but no. This is why I gotta go up against what's Rich who comes on here sometimes talking about how great I like Jimmy Butler, but he's a sidekick to an alpha. He's not a top tier dude. Yeah, cause he ran his mouth and he's had good opportunities and he squandered them. He just as bitter as Scotty Tissue Pippen, and both of them get on my nerve with all that crying they do. You didn't had a great spotlight. So I don't want to be hearing them cats crying all the time. I mean, when Chris Berman said, "Yep, he lucky they didn't put no case on him." they deal with him because they and they like him, but he just no. I think he said something about one of them chicks too. I forgot what it was, but he didn't say so much stuff, and he been loud and you know, great player though. I will give him his due for what he did as a player, but he ain't get his wake up call because he's still walking around, still trying to talk trash. He just like Scotty. It's not so much of a sellout. It's just one of those cats that just says stuff that really doesn't understand how good they got it. But you weren't the man, but you should be happy that you had an opportunity. Yeah, I don't be paying, him and Tissue be getting on my nerves, all that crying they do. That's what I call Scotty Pippen, Scotty Tissue. All that crying, sniveling, when you know good and well you got hooked up. And I seen other brothers get ran out of the league for lot less than what they tolerated with you. Just let to keep that in mind. I just want to say a thank you to the elder for coming through. That's a you never know who be watching these shows. Just so you know. So appreciate that. That really made my day, and I appreciate everybody that comes through. But just let you know, shout out. You never know. Elder then blessed us, so thank you. You gotta watch that man's network. I'm telling you, got some great content. He be bringing it on the real. I did some videos about it. I think I told you how I feel about Craig Hodges. I've told you he got whiteballed by the NBA. He went through the same thing that Mahmoud Raul went through, and he went through the same thing before Colin Kaepernick. He went to the White House with a dashiki. He spoke out. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, he deserves 100,000 more because the elder is like what I say. He's the folk. Just he's the folk that talk to you. Whereas Dr. Umar Johnson and some of these other people get more money put on them, but the elder is like the kind of folk I grew up on that would talk to you in a way, in language that you could relate to, and it's also but it's also that's something that you can look forward to seeing in your life. Believe me. I did a video about Rodney Hinton Jr. If you watch my videos, I did a take on it because I said he couldn't get a GoFundMe, but Shiloh Hendricks could. Um, I understand. I don't condone no violence, but I understand. Man, Ted, that really touches my soul. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. For me to be compared to be put with the elder, I got stories when I was a kid, especially when I was in Texas and I went to Louisiana, and there was a man that was like the elder. My mother's former neighbor, because there are people who want to support him. There's a lot of people who I've been reading online who want to support Rodney Hinton Jr. because of what happened to his son. A black being black and the cops take you out, people feel that hey, they understand your madness and your frustration. It's not about innocent. His son lost his life. Let it happen to you. Let it you be profiled on these streets and you don't get to say goodbye. And you would get upset because they do target black folks. That's a fact. Appreciate you, Ted. Man, that really touched me. Thank you. But that's what happens with that though. I saw that, and so did Thomas Jefferson with Sarah Hinton. What's your point? All they say that don't mean nothing. That's just kind of like the cats that drive around listening to rap music. Ask them to come over for dinner though. See if they care about Black Lives Matter. See if they want to. I don't think Rodney Hinton Jr. is a bad person, and I don't think it's things happen, but it's the reality of how we've had to deal with this in the last decades plus. When the police involves a black person, it definitely sets you off. If you've been dealing with racial profiling, you don't forget. If you've had to defend yourself, you don't forget. If you've been profiled, you understand how you could resort to that. I'm not condoning it, but I understand. I've been dealt with profile. I was profiled myself. I didn't go through the, but let's just say you come with your receipts and they still look at you sideways. They mess with you because they can. They use that badge and armor as a means to kind of hustle and just do whatever. So, and I do. I don't condone what he did. However, I understand him feeling the way he did because Tyree Nichols, who had that episode with those black cops, he didn't get no justice. But it's all institutionalized, systematic racism 101. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah, as far as Shiloh Hendricks, that's the always that don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. Because if that's her rallying criteria, then she would have definitely understood why you don't say something. Unless of course she was messing with a brother who just let them say whatever. Sure won't. You won't get no. You know, people break their neck to bring Michael Rappaport and Bill Maher and them to the cookout, but ask them if they can go to Starbucks with you and see if they got a gift card for you and see what happened. See what happened. You got that Starbucks gift card? Go hook me up. Can I get it? Can I go to the? Can I hang out with you when you go to the upscale restaurants and you can put that sports coat on me? Ain't got no use for you. Ain't got no use for you. Did you? You didn't see my video. You didn't see my video. I did a video roast on him because I said Hulk Hogan with three Ks. And it went on the whole thing with Shelton Benjamin. Check out my video. I roasted his butt. What's happening? I'm back, brother. Son. Rock with you. Come on now. Rock with you. I liked Uptown. I like the what we call the sideways version of the Rolling Stones "Miss You" with the bass line, which Andre Simone co-wrote. But "Rock with You," come on now. Michael Jackson was like, like he could have retired after that one. That's one of them songs and the vocal performances that it's not even close. It's not close. "Rock with You" is a better song. Uptown is it's cool. I remember when he was a TV champion. I used to watch him when he was a TV champion. Yeah, they ain't gonna try to hear no Hulk Hogan mess. Hogan too old and he's crumbling and he's desperate for some kind of relevance, and he's wearing his grand wizardry. I heard about something like that. I didn't check it all the way out, but it did come through my fear. I think we all have bias in us. That was a great song by Michael Jackson. The vocals, Stevie Wonder wrote it, co-wrote it with his then ex-wife, and the groove was jazz chords. Da, 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 da. Sounded great. Harmony, I told you. That Michael Jackson era was amazing. I mean, just amazing. We all have bias in us because we feel a certain way, but we ain't racist. Because if you're black, you ain't racist. You don't own nothing. You don't control nothing. I can't legislate nothing. But we all have bias. There's a difference between racial bias and racial being racist. You really going to crazy extremes. I like why you treat me. Oh, you talking about? Are you talking about Club Nouveau? Why you treat me so bad, sir? I gotta give it the surface. I did like Happy. He said that at that particular time because he was selling the facade and the imagery because he was selling himself to corporate America. Now I watched Kwame Brown's live streaming, and if you do, you heard him say about Shannon Sharp, stop being the good corporate because if you be the nice corporate one, then this expects you to be goody goody. He says, I am what I am. That's what they sell you on. That's how you cross over. That's how you get marketing and money. You see, they have to look at you like you were auctioning a plantation. It's part of what happens. I'm going with Surface Happy because I like the groove of it. That cut still hits. But I did like Nouveau's. J. King and them had a couple moments, but I have to give it to Surface though. Surface had that. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. That was the cut though. Surface had some cuts. Everybody got bias in them. You can say you not, but OJ had bias in him. OJ had to adhere to a certain that is bias. It's all bias. You can't walk in America and it will not have no bias. We don't live in a kumbaya, non. Sorry, I don't know what that's gonna mean for him. I don't know what to say about it. I see how he turns out, what they utilize. I know your coach is starting to get long in the tooth, and he better get past the second round. I know that. Missed, I'm gonna win 13 games and get knocked out in the second round, getting old. But now that Minnesota done lost their great hope at quarterback, we're gonna see if they fall down. They got exposed bad. So Detroit, Green Bay, we'll see. Wouldn't you say LaFleur should be in the hot seat? They good, but they're are they next level? Mm, okay, that ain't gonna mean nothing, but okay. I gotta go with Hart. I love them Wilson girls. Who does well? If you talking to a certain younger people, but Bobby Womack, man, look, he stays getting play around me. I was listening to the Poet 1 and 2 recently, and I got his book too. Love Womack. He was wild though, but dug his music. Guitar player. You know, if you listen to Breezing by George Benson, he wrote that. That dude was underappreciated as a guitarist. He wrote some big songs. He worked with Wilson Pickett and all that back in the day. Womack was a bad one. Talk crazy too. I got to give it to Hart. I did like Missing Persons, but I got to give it to Hart. I love Ann and Nancy, their harmonies. What's up, Tom? You telling the truth, Tom? Asking me who had more talent? Well, more talent, that's going to be because Prince played more instruments and stuff from that. But that doesn't make you the better artist. See, talent is one thing, how to utilize it is another. For me, Michael Jackson had the better catalog, and I thought he was the better artistry. But Prince was probably more talented than most. And Prince was bad. I mean, I liked him. I tell you, he was a live performer, but talent is very, again, how are you overwhelmed by it? Are you underwhelmed by it? Talent is very, let me give you an example of another thing, and I don't want to veer off. It's like you asked me who's more talented out of Vince Carter and Kobe Bryant. I'm going to tell you Vince Carter was more talented, but Kobe got more out of his toolage. So talent can be, he better come into his own because he's got every, first of all, glad to have you, Tom. Thank you for coming through, Tom. Minnesota's going to take a step off. Detroit's getting exposed. So Green Bay should be up and coming. Talent is one thing, but what moved me is another. I want to give a heat wave on that one. I did like Do You Want to Go Party, but it's heat wave on that one. Ooh, ooh. Johnny Wilder gonna get that. Michael's more my Michael. I picked Michael Raw as an artist, but talent is a different animal. Different animal. He's inconsistent. You call him reckless. He's inconsistent. I didn't consider Prince more radical. I thought he was a good combination of a lot of different people. He was inspired by Michael, by the way. A lot of people don't understand that the pop R&B gospel thing, rock thing, is it a line of what Michael did. Okay, you asking me who's more talented now? Who's better? He played drums and keys. I know that for a fact. Mariah is going to be considered more talented because she wrote, co-produced, and she had more tonnage than Mary. I mean, I love that song. I love the drums on that one by Diamond Williams at the beginning. That's a very uplifting song. I like the chorus on there, the way Sugarfoot, where they be doing the vocals. Yeah, Mariah gonna get that, but I listen to Mary more though. I think she is, because a lot of her stuff sounds like it's cute and fluffy, but it doesn't have no real depth to me. You know, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s daddy was the lead singer, Cuba Gooding Sr. That was a tight song. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Loving when Jeffrey Osborne was the lead singer. And then, yeah, what's that sour milk? That's what she's living by. She made crazy cash off that one song alone. Mariah always was a tomboyish vibe, and just like it's like I can't quite put it in you know. I love Switch, Bobby DeBarge lead singing. If you ever watched a show called Halftime Chat, cat out of the UK, Greg Williams, who used to be in Switch, did a great interview in there. Get a chance, watch it. Halftime Chat. Latimer was down home South music. Let's straighten it out. Oh yeah, she's sour milk. The body is kind of like over. I think he was a good songwriter. I don't know if I'd say that for me. I don't hold him in high regards like that as a songwriter because to me, great songwriters. I think he was a great overall artist, but as a songwriter, he was hit and miss with me. I don't look at him like I do Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, like those cats, or Lionel Richie for that matter. Not as a songwriter. I think he knew how to put his music and connect his arrangements and his structuring. Sold a lot of his songs. I did like Nothing Compares to You, but I didn't sit around looking at him as like this composed. Like I sit there as a songwriter where I go, oh wow, this guy. The Sweet Thing was a great song. I like the guitar parts. I like Rufus. I like the sound on it. Harmony. Prince all around as an artistry. Yeah. Wake up, everybody. Well, the happy he gone part is probably what upset him more than anything. Then it comes to him. Um, he was good for what he did. You know, he was good for what he did. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I was overbound by him, but I like River Run Dry. 100 miles per hour, I like the synthesizers, I like the groove of it, but I think it got kind of corny when he did the cool part in the song. But I like the synth runs of it. But River Run Dry, Bobby Z, most of them were though, Ted. Bobby Z's drums, I like the clear drums on that song. So River Run Dry for the W because of the drums. Melissa Fool's Paradise, Melissa Morgan was underappreciated. She was bad. Love Frankie Beverly and May. That was the band that never got no love. When the Grammys gave him a Lifetime Legend Award, I'm like, y'all act like y'all never knew they were alive. Happy Feelings was a great song to put you in the mood for the cookout. Oh yeah, New Birth with I love the harmonies. Dream Merchant though is my song by New Birth though, but I like that. New Birth was nice. I say middle of the road. I wouldn't say under or over. Frankie ain't getting no love from white folks. That's all that was. They ain't getting no love from black folks. Cause they never gave him no awards in none of the black shows except when he at the end at the BET. He never got no love. To black. They were roots. They were grand root folks. But if they came to your town, I don't care who's performing. That Frankie Beverly and Mays, they all pack. You'll see number white outfits on pack. But they never. He was pretty much stopped putting out new music after '93. But they had a catalog of the songs that people came to see them 7 to 10 songs, and it was all you needed. I knew some diehard Frankie Beverly and Mays fans. listened to them just yesterday because they had this song called "Funkin' Around," and we go a long way back. And I was listening to Natural High, and they actually had a movie too. They had a real distinctive tone with their guitars and their vocals. I like Bloodstone. They're from Jersey. He quit the music business, so there's a real twisted story about it. There was this situation where he's at this house, and this little white girl was running the hallway naked, and he got up out of it. It was pretty scandalous. He got set up Saturday night, but I did like "Want to Be with You," and they're my two favorite R&B bands ever. But Saturday night, I like the message. Oh yeah, because that's 50 years ago. Come next year with Rolls Royce, Norman Whitfield. Michael wanted the crossover, like, and he fought for it. He was in the middle of it. Some would say his imagery would loan it, but I'd say he was a brother underneath everywhere he was about. He did loan himself, but he played folks, but then he used it, but then he got a wake up call at that Grammys in '88 when they shut him out. He had that look of horror on his face, but he had to fight. So his thing is really, it's complex because he fought what they told him off the wall was too black, and he said, "I'm gonna come back with album like Thriller," and they couldn't deny him. And then when they threatened to pull everything off of Sony, he had to fight MTV. He had to fight the industry. So you can, and then he bought the Beatles. So you tell me where he falls in line, and you saw the hate he got. You can Google it. Shut him out. He did Man in the Mirror, and he did The Way Me Feel on Stage, and they had all these categories. Smokey got one. Oh, I'll tell you the real racist thing about the Grammys in '88, and I do like Ain't No Stopping Us Now. By the way, Tom. Johnny Taylor was bad. Jody and Cheaper to Keeper, and You Believe in Me, I Believe in You. Quincy stole from a whole lot of people. So let me get back to it. They had the one category for album of the year. They had Michael, Whitney, and Prince, and they all lost to U2. That was the '88 album of the year. Everybody takes from everybody in the industry. Quincy can't talk because Quincy's production, when he went looking for songs that sounded like songs, how could he could talk? Besides, he got dissed by James Ingram once because he didn't change his arrangements. That was one of the knocks. Quincy was biting off of David Grusin and them cats from GRP Records. That's the sound he wanted. Quincy always had other people in his camp, and he really wasn't a songwriter, but he was a great arranger, and he knew how to put people with places, and he had the team. Motown. I love Philly sound, but come on, Motown had better careers, better artists, and it's great. And Holland Doja, I mean, Motown was the blueprint, and Philly would be next, but Motown for me in a blowout. He could, well, he got thug in him. No, that ain't working with him. Did you see him on stage gyrating? It was last year. He's like, that old man up here just getting his freak on. No, that's just showbiz. I think he's trying to keep them wrinkles out because he looked like he had some work done. I mean, he keeps himself fit, but he looked like he had some touch up stuff. What happened is that Michael had his team working on half of Bad, and Quincy did his part, but Michael had taken over more control because he wanted to write more songs. There was more money in the publishing. Because remember when after Off the Wall and Thriller, Rod Temper and them were eating off his plate, so Michael had more say. I know he is, and I see out there gyrating be cracking me up. You bring the freak. Oh, controversy for the W there. You gotta give some songs that's a real battle. I did like you bring the freak out, but no controversy with that guitar and that riff. That pocket was lethal. Prince was in his. That's when he came into his zone with that era. I did like you bring the freak out, but that wasn't one of Rick's best songs to put up against controversy. But it was tight. Now, if you had said cold blooded against controversy, that would have been a battle. That would have been a battle. Because that's when Rick went electric funk. He got rid of more traditional horns and he went more synthesizer. That would have been an interesting battle. But controversy gonna get the dub on this one. Yeah, he's 85. And just the gyrating away. I see him on these stages just pumping his hips. I don't know what he into. I knew about the crack thing, which was crazy 40 years ago, because the guy came out with Just to See Her, the album and all that, and One Heartbeat. He looked clean and he was ripped. And I found out he'd get into all this stuff. I was like, wow. Cause I had never seen a crackhead kind of look like Smokey Robinson. Smokey was cut 40 years ago. Yeah, well, Jagger is low key though. See, that's a whole nother story. And remember, notice the difference. Complexion for the protection, like Paul Mooney tell you. Different complexion. Jagger got all kinds of stuff, but no one gonna say nothing because he made a lot of money, and then a lot of lips gonna go the other way. We can talk about others and make comparisons. You don't get the same. Well, let me say this to you. Imagine if you make the work, you do all the stuff, you write the songs, you do all that, and they still don't give you your ownership. And on top of that, they can take your songs and have someone else cover your music. You don't have no rights. They own you. So it is like a form of slavery. And he was right about how they, well, look at Little Richard, even more so than Prince. They went and got white artists to do the music. Cats didn't get half the money, blew them up. The industry is a plantation, and they pick and choose who they want, and they put money on who they want, and you don't own nothing. They make money off of you through everything. So I if you look at it, just because a record sells for like $20 doesn't mean you're gonna get 20. You'll be lucky to get five, and sometimes you get paid pennies on the dollar. I don't really know about Jag. I know he get married again. I got to go with Can You Stand the Rain. Now this is the best one you'd asked me yet. That's pretty close, but I got to say Can You Stand the Rain because I love how Ralph's voice and Johnny's work. I know In the Road is a monster song. Did wonders for Babyface and Boys to Men, and that blew them up. But Can You Stand the Rain is still like an anthem. I thought Ronnie and I thought Ralph and Johnny sounded great. Four tops for me, cause Levi Stubbs, that man could sing. I like Boys to Men, but Levi Stubbs and the Four Tops, that harmony, I don't think it's close. Probably the I liked Do Not Pass Me By, In the Road. I like On Bended Knee. I like So Hard to Say Goodbye. Dear Mama. I'll Make Love. I like that. I like the ones they did with Babyface. I like their biggest hits mostly, but I Do Not Pass Me By is like the last one I like. Okay. Four Tops. And I'm gonna tell you, one for the Temptations, the Four Tops would have been that Motown group for me. Levi Stubbs was a man's man as a vocalist. Yeah, there's some great topics coming up in the day. We're really live. I will definitely come back tomorrow. And I like Renee and Angela. I like Renee and Angela. Some of their stuff. I'm gonna go with Blondie on that one. But I did like that Free to Like, but I'm gonna go with Blondie. I like that bass. That still hits. Blondie has some nice bottom in their cuts. And Deborah Harry, I liked her voice. Getting pretty good now. The last two have been good. When you came out and said River Run Dry and 100 miles per hour, I said, I know you're a Minneapolis fan. He only said because his quota got wrecked because he likes to act like he's some kind of expert. He bought and paid like the rest of them. I'm going to say it the best way I know how. He's either a booty bandit, snatcher, Fleece Johnson type, or he done ticked off the wrong white dude. Or it could be a combination of both. That's what leads it to happening. If his money get funny or he done something, in that industry, I don't know. But I do kind of look at him sideways for one main reason. He's still out here gyrating at this age when he didn't gyrate when he was 40 or his 50s. Now all of a sudden he didn't got some blue pills and this cat can't stop moving his hips. So I kind of look at him suspect of what he be doing because he's a bit. Mhm. I'm saying that's how I read it. Because when I was reading the transcripts, I'm like, he's like Fleece Johnson. In? Oh, 80. And I like Jared a lot, but oh, 80. 80. Because that soul hit you. Sexy dancer. But I did like Kelly's Eyes. That was I like the synthesized groove on it. I like the chorus in it. But Andre's problem for me is that vocally he never quite hit the vocally. I like his grooves, just his voice don't really hit like that. But Sexy Dancer, the long version too, where he did that like the jam Graham Central, he showed off. You know, it was early, but it was the groove was stank. I like the chord changes in it. Did he? Because he said he wasn't fluid. He said he was, then he wasn't. And see, I had some older black females in my family, and all that I kept hearing is all that good hair going to waste. Yep. All I heard was all that good hair going to waste. He said, I'm not, he said he was fluid, then he wasn't. I don't know. Billy D be wild enough, because I know he put hands, he had some issue with the wife or something. But he said Marlon Brando tried to hit on him, and he said, no, he don't go that way. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about Billy D. But all I know is all I heard was the women I knew was like all that good hair gone to waste. That's all I heard. He was that dude though back in the day though. The Ebony magazine, he was smooth. He was cool. Cause he was a good actor, and he had some good films. I like the stuff him and Donna Ross together. But and the whole thing with him and uh, Marla Gibbs, Florence Johnson, Billy D. You know, he was that dude in the '70s though. When he had that kind, he was pre before Denzel. Now he was more hood big. If your mom or your granny had Ebony magazine, he was big like in the black way. He didn't really cross over. He didn't. Mm-mm. And I don't put no money on him. I don't know what it was. He never had crossover. I also know that they weren't really pushing it, but he just didn't have crossover. I don't think he had Denzel's bag though as an actor, but I think he was a good actor who happened to be charismatic. Sinatra. I just think he was kind of dry. I don't think he was too black, but I think he was kind of dry. I think there was something missing. You know, it's like that little aura. Like the actor Calvin Lockhart, and I like Calvin a lot because you remember he was in Let's Do It Again, Uptown Saturday Night. Had had it had that kind of vibe about him and the appeal. Sinatra's crone, and if you listen to him with the Miller and them back in the '40s, I know the stuff in the '60s was cornball, but he was tight. In the black community, yes, but not in white world. Mm-mm, mm-mm. If you talking about your granny, your auntie, your cousin, godmother type era, yeah. But if you talking about in white world, no. Even when he did Star Wars, it was still he never. Yeah, I like Dino, but I got to give it to Frank Franklin. Okay. Well, Lionel's Oh No wasn't solos with the Commodores, but I'm gonna give it to Lionel. There's only about a couple Philip Bailey solo songs I like, and I love Philip Bailey, but his solo career wasn't that memorable. So I gotta go. Oh no, I didn't really care for a solo. I don't know what he liked. I know he married an Asian woman. They were married for a long time. I don't know what he liked. I never heard nothing too much about him, but I don't know what all he liked. I I know that he had people looking at him though, because he mentioned Marlon Brando, and Billy was clean, yo. Shoot, Billy was clean. Billy was clean. Billy was a good-looking cat back in the day. Did he? He groomed. He could. He was clean, leading man. But he didn't have the crossover to white folks like he did with black. He just was bigger. I remember. Oh yeah, he hit anything that moved. Anything. Quincy Jones said if it was the mailbox, yeah. And Brando was that dude. If you watched on the waterfront, everything he did from the 50s till about The Godfather, he was on point. Last Tango in Paris. But yeah, he went anyway. he was he was very yeah, he was Amtrak. That's what that's what I was like. He was Starburst and Allburst, all package. He let himself go too, cause the dude, you know, he let himself go, taken out more so than Prince and more so than Michael. Hers was worse, taken out money and all kinds of stuff. I'm going with Metallica. I never did care for White Zombie. I always thought they were gimmicky with their music. Wasn't the hugest Metallica fan, but come on now, James Hartford and Lars, better musicianship. Taken out because there's more money with her being gone and all the stuff that goes on than her being around. And she was questioning her money too. She had no money when she left. Tell people all the time that industry ain't what you think it is. It's cutthroat. Yeah, I liked them for a minute. I didn't like how they were about Napster, but I liked them for a minute. Like them both, but it was the deal. And I tell you, because Two Occasions was that song, and I did. But I did like Lars kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Oh yeah, and I got asked a question up above about the drummers being known. Lars Ulrich was known. Now he didn't get as big as Questlove, but as far as on that putting him, but they were big though. He was much as known as James Hartford. I don't know about that. The deal. I did it too, but I did like the Force MDs. I actually, it's funny stories about both. There was something that he said, and I think Kurt, the bass player is half black because he's Filipino with the curls. But there was something that was said that kind of, and it was kind of like one of them things that I can't remember in totality. But but you do know most of the rock groups like that do have that connotation association with them, especially they fans. Be black and go to a Metallica show. Mm-hmm. Because people be like, you know, just like you went to Guns N' Roses show. Oh, now you cooking. I gotta give it to the Barcades because of Larry Dotson. But I did like Cameo though, but a lot. I listened to them more in the Martin, but the Barcades for overall. But it's close though. Good question. The Go Go's. Better band. The Bengals were like a cute act that came about, but the Go Go's had more musicality. Yeah, I said it was close for me. It was close because I do listen to a lot of Cameo, and I probably listen to them more and more recent. But if I'm going by totality, but it's close. Well, it depends on what they're trying to produce the education to. Or they trying? How you doing? Thank you for coming through, LB. If they're trying to push it, the education where that requires that more studies are done to balance out the curriculum, then that's fine. Obviously, they're nowhere near the top echelon in the country or in the world, because education in America got one of the worst educational systems on the planet. Everybody knows that the testing is deplorable, and it ain't got nothing to do with the pandemic. They was already deplorable with the reading levels, the math, the systematic. So you know they would want to, but they gotta get and hire teachers as robots and hire them as individuals. That's the problem. Not in a long time. I mean, I liked it, but I heard it like 909 times growing up. So I like the cut, and I've listened to it in terms of like the sonic, the talk, the vibe, the whole. Funny story about that song with the Wrigley Spearmint gum, because the guy was going to sue James and Toomey. James and Toomey had to tell him that our juicy fruit ain't your juicy fruit. It's hilarious. Pop was one of the top. He had to retire. One of the five greatest coaches ever in NBA history. But I mean, Victor Wemby may come, may not. You can't lose. You can't wait on that. Um, Probably when they won their first title against the Knicks, because that was kind of the guy at the time was younger, and he was like a GM, and then they won. It was like, okay, this cat got San Antonio, because at that time they were one of those teams that you know nobody really thought of like that. But I'd say winning that ring probably against Detroit too, because that's a tough ring there. Because he had that go against Larry Brown, who's one of the greatest X and O's head coaches. So if you beat Larry Brown with X's and O's, and your teams are pretty much, aside from the Tim Duncan factor, yeah, pretty much, you can debate with Ginobili and Park, but pretty much the Duncan factor, you're pretty much spot on, spot on. He made some great adjustments. So, I think winning that one against Detroit, because that was like a teacher mentor thing, you know. So, but I got a lot of Pop. I like Pop a lot. And a great coach. Well, everything is pop music. I mean, everything is. Oh, you hate pop? Okay. Oh, okay. I talk about pop music. Okay. He won 5 rings, 6 finals appearance, 20 seasons of 50-win seasons, winning his coach. I mean, he probably would have been in the George Carl, Rick Alderman, Don Nelson type of territory. Because I don't know if Dave Robinson could have led him to a ring, and Duncan was a once. They never talk about a once generational type of talent. Think about it. You got 5 rings with this guy. I mean, I'm going with Johnson crew. Pac Jam was a cut. That's a good question that you asked me to cut. That's a really great question. And yeah, if because David Robinson wasn't as great as he wasn't gonna do what Tim Duncan brought. I didn't see it. I saw them as a maybe get to Western Conference Finals, but oh, Duncan was a beast, yo. I laughed, and I said, and that's why I did a video. You haven't seen my video. I called him Green Cobra, a wrestler, or maybe Tyler Perry can get him in a film roles. Angry Black Man. He needs to stop. He needs to stop with that crap. Duncan could fundamentally move, and the way he would hit that glass against the Lakers, you couldn't really. You had to be up on him, and he beat you so many different sides. He utilized the rim, incredible and canny. Yeah, he gave the Lakers problems. He gave them problems. He wasn't as dominant as Shaq, but he was right after Shaq, as far as I'm concerned, the most impactful player in the West at that time. And they were always a problem. Yeah, but the Angry Black, that's hilarious though. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Plus, he was a swimmer. He was a multi-athletic guy. He talking bad, yo. He might be boring. He might put you to sleep in terms that he don't rah rah he and grin and shuffle. But as far as playing ball go, he couldn't really teach what he could do. He was just complete, and he played within the system. He didn't overexert himself. Oh, well, I saw that last year, yo. I saw that last year. You got to remember something. The league then caught up with those guys as far as what they were doing. So now they're not, you sprinting all those guys are making you work. When will I see you again? I did like one ads a lot. And Verdine White's married to the lead singer for the Honeycomb. But yeah, 3 Degrees. That's a classic song. Oh, love them vocals. No, they don't. For what? It depends on what the position where they are. If LeBron is playing outside in, he better not miss his shots. But if Shaq's able to have the box, I like Shaq 10-6. Jordan Poole don't want to go back. He looked busted. Use him for what? Have you seen him in Washington? That man don't he get booed in Washington and they don't even care about winning no games. Um Reminiscing, all I can say you remind me, not gonna cry. Most of the stuff I like is off our first two records. Doing just fine, I like. Family Affair. Kind of like more for upbeat stuff. But Not Gonna Cry is probably my favorite, the one she did with Babyface. I like that a lot. From the Waiting Exhale soundtrack. But she's streaky for me. I can go one way or other with Mary. I like the old stuff. Okay, I got 15 minutes before I roll because I've been on for a heck of a day. But I'm going with Bill Withers. Even though I love Give Me the Night, I love the groove and the hook and the changes that Rod Temperton did. But Lovely Day, that song never fails. I can listen to that song every day. Because Bill Withers sung that song and he hit that note in that song. Love that song. I'd say from about 92 to about 95. Well, you could say up to 97. He wouldn't beat him. Will Chamberlain could cover a lot of area. How you gonna stop a man that can had a floating shot? He wouldn't beat him. Wilt would defend him. Wilt would make him go to his left. I'd say more like a five. Because I'd say that she 92 to 97, which is good. That's a great peak. You gotta remember something. If you come up with 2 or 3 albums, that's what most great artists like Steve Wonder had that great peak in the 70s. That's all you hope for. I remember that. And I also want to say she was covered up on the She's Strange album too. I want to say they used her for that cover too. She had another one too. Can't think of it. There was another thing. She was a model and she was used to the industry. So yeah, we talk about peaks and primes musically. Yeah, if you get like a 4 or 5 year, that's all you get. Elton John once said that 5 year windows what you get if you're good or great. 96 to about, say about 93. Because from Control to about That's the Way Love Goes, she couldn't do no wrong. So I say about 6, 7 years. Yeah, you know. I'll give her that. She had about 3 album peak prime. Velvet Rope was divisive in '97, so it depends on who you ask. And no one really cares before Control unless you're a diehard Janet fan. So it's kind of how I look at it. But she definitely covered a lot of ground. That's TV. That's not her peak in terms of like. I like the video. I was okay with the song. You know, I don't ever bet against V6 against Apollonia 6. Some Kind of Love was a decent track, but 3 times 2 = 6. I like the synth groove on it. My go-to Janet song, probably That's the Way Love Goes, and I like Pleasure Principle a lot. I like those two a lot. And I did like What Have You Done for Me Lately. I like that. I like it when she hit, because that's to me that was her best stuff. What's My Name? Gin and Juice. Probably his old stuff. Um, Drop It Like It's Hot. Let's Get Blown with Pharrell. Like some of his stuff like that. I like his older stuff. You know, old Snoop mainly. G thing, of course, with him and I wasn't big on Janet Jackson's voice, but I like her work ethic. I think she worked her behind off to become important. But I give her credits too. I like the Scream video. The song was alright. It's the music that really do much for me. 80% say soundtracks. Superfly, Shaft come to mind. Saturday Night Fever. I like the Pink Panther, The Godfather, Taxi Driver. Old school ones mainly. I like the stuff that Curtis Mayfield did with soundtrack, and I like the Henry Mancini. They were, but they were like the female version of Boys to Men. They were only as good as their producers and writers. And when they fell off, they just didn't really have that solo. But I like them. I had a crush on her when she was younger. I thought that because of being a teen back then, I liked her. I didn't like her just pole dancing. No, I didn't like how she ended up. But I never got her mixed up with the brother and her daddy. Telephone bill, because that song go hard. And Bootsy had me in stitches. Know that. His telephone bill kind of remind me of Johnny Guitar Watson. I like that. Okay, we got about 10 more minutes before I'm gonna call it a day because I've been on for a long time. Got 10 more minutes, and I'm definitely coming back tomorrow, giving you guys a heads up, probably around this time. But we're gonna talk 10 more. Appreciate all the likes and the questions. Definitely getting answered today. Great surprises left and right. Congratulations, Calvin. And you coming on fire now. Well, she knew what the business was about. She took part in that too. She ain't, I saw that about Kenyon Martin, but I didn't understand who it was about. They didn't. It was on the white side, not on the other side. I would say the thing, because that was something. I didn't know anything about that Kenyon Martin who he got into it with. No, Angie Stone and her group had rap songs. Well, what you expect with them two rockheads? I mean, what Nick Young disagree with him about? And Kenyon Martin's always upset about something. Kim 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 Martin's always into something. Like he want to fight somebody. Oh, thank you so much for coming through. You gonna come back tomorrow? I still got about 5 more minutes before I'm gonna get off, but you come back tomorrow though. Appreciate you coming through, but let me know if you're coming tomorrow too. Swaggy snitch. Yeah, cause he never grew up. He still be playing that old tough guy bully role, licking his lips, trying to play tough on TV. I got tired of him and his antics. Remember that shove against Carl Malone? I remember all his antics. And if he had a halfway would utilized his game when he went to Denver, they would have done something. He always did it with the Clippers. He always played that tough guy, knock it off my chest. I dare you. That's all he do. Curses all the time, upset, belligerent. I said, your son's playing pro ball. You didn't made money. Stop the acting job. I can't stand it when cats get over and then they act like they didn't get over. Yeah, he wouldn't do his toe to toe. The Timberwolves, I think, but I think the Warriors could win tonight. But if Golden State loses tonight, it's over. They better win tonight. Yeah, sometimes I have to do it hand by hand. I have to put it on the page and stuff. So appreciate that. But be on the lookout. Definitely tomorrow. But Sunday's gonna be just as fun as today, if not even more. We'll have more to talk about tomorrow. As long as Bill Belichick and no one don't run stupid, I'm gonna keep it basketball related question tomorrow. Golden State got to win tonight, but I think Minnesota wins. But Golden State got to win. They get blew out, they're in trouble. They have to blow them out. If the game is close, I still think OKC can get it back. I'm not convinced. I hope you understand. I have not. They should win the series, but I'm not sold on them. I'm not sold on them because Jokic is looking like he's crumbling, and Denver doesn't look that strong. It's just that OKC is young and green and they haven't been there, battle tested. That's what I attribute to. They're done, but I still think they were the better team because I still think unless New York blows them out. Yeah, but I gotta remember how Denver just won this game. The Cure on that one. Mm. Well, maybe getting his coach fired might be the thing. That might be the thing. But the problem I have with Denver is they don't play no defense, and they always look like they hit and miss on offense. They just look spotty. I can't really get behind them. So, but I do think Aaron Gordon has stepped this game up. I just think that they look kind of spotty. But they could prove me wrong. If they prove me wrong, more power to them. That would be par for him. I don't think it would do anything as far as people moving him up the echelons. He will never, for many, he'll never crack a top five as a point guard, but he'll be, it'll be a ring. It's one of those personal accomplishments. And also, it's revenge more against LeBron because LeBron said, I couldn't use you. So, from that, but it won't make him a better player. It won't do nothing for his statue because That dating came and gone. We're not debating Westbrook as a top five guard, except if you want to go by his stats. Someone had an interesting build, Voltron. They said if you could have Westbrook had someone's shooting ability. Steph, Magic, Stockton, Oscar Robinson, Isaiah Thomas. That's five right there. Okay. Uh, you got Jason Kidd, six. So where's he at? So you got to figure out 7 to 10 slot. So it depends on who you consider all time point guard. Depends. He'll be better than Tony Parker. Not as accomplished in terms of personal, but I look at it in a good light now. I just don't think that because he didn't get much out of the run is what hurt him. You know, that's what hurts him, which is basketball related because you didn't win. Stats was there, you just didn't win. Because they look at him as old cat with them short shorts, and they didn't really think Clyde Frazier can make a case as top 10. You can, but Stockton could fundamentally outplay a lot of cats. He, fundamentally. Let me put it to you like this: if he played today for the Lakers, they might still be playing. He put LeBron and Luka in place. If you put him with Minnesota, they would be dangerous. If you put him with Houston, no, Price could shoot that thing though. Price had handles and he could shoot. It's just that Cleveland didn't win, and I think he also took a backlash for how he did Craig Hodges too, not the 3 points. But Price could shoot. It's just that Cleveland didn't win, and they used that against him. He could move well without the rock. Okay, let's see if we got any more questions on here. I ain't never heard anyone say Mark Price was slow. It's just that they didn't do it. They didn't win, and it worked against them. Still doesn't take away that he was a great player. Though Stockton was great. Jordan used to eat greasy fast food. He did everything you weren't supposed to do: smoke cigars, eat hot dogs, and was busting your behind and macking on your girl too, and hating too. Yeah, he lived wild. He did everything, and he gambled too. That's no story. Yeah, he did all that late night party hard, but he had that drive in him. You try to do that, you'll be sleeping on the bench. Scotty tried it. Scotty couldn't stay awake. Oh, Scotty tried. Jordan was like a freak of nature. You gotta have a special gift though, and he was competitive and he had that drive. Rex Chapman could shoot though. That's why. So it was a matter of going out there guarding him. That's I did a video about that. That's exactly what I did. Probably could. Of course, it's Ray Allen. I like what Marbury did going to China, but it's Ray Allen. He hit one of the greatest shots ever in NBA Finals history. He was big for Boston. He's big for Miami. He won chips, but he's also kind of been underappreciated too, because he really didn't have no personality. He didn't have no Reggie Miller fanfare, and he didn't have no Steph Curry, kind of situation. So he's kind of almost getting forgotten. Yeah, I saw that mess. I didn't entertain it. I'm gonna get ready to go in just about 3 minutes. So 3 more minutes. 3 more. Oh yeah, because I was eating some pasta that night, and they remember they had all the ceremony stuff. He made that shot. I almost choked on my strings. I was like, I thought that mess was surreal. And then when Bosch Block Parker shot in the corner, I really hooped. And that Ray Allen shot is one of my three favorite final shots ever because it saved LeBron's legacy. Yeah, I'm coming. Are you gonna be back on here tomorrow? I'll tell anybody if you're gonna be here tomorrow, I'll be back around the same time. So if you don't get the notification, look for me on the stream because I'm coming back tomorrow. Yeah, I'm on that. Maybe, maybe not, because he may not have gotten back to the finals next year. But they took it out on OKC. Okay, Monday. Okay, so I'll do some tomorrow, and I'll definitely do Monday. So some will see me tomorrow, some will see me Monday. Yeah, if it depends on how many people are on tomorrow, because it made time, and so we'll see. But yeah, but 5-1 ain't nothing to sneeze at. I don't know why anybody would sneeze at it. He was great in every finals he was in. You know, great player. And when you're great, you're great. But anyway, I appreciate everyone that's coming through. And check out the videos too, because I got some videos of some of these questions y'all asked. So if you see the videos, feel free to comment because I addressed the Golden State. I addressed Aaron Gordon. I did this and I did the roast on. Yeah, I know about Montana. Montana was great. Oh yeah, yeah. All right, I'm gonna call it now. Appreciate everybody. Peace and the best. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Stay woke. Stay free. And I will see y'all soon. Peace.